Hey guys, Vance here. You know, sometimes the car world doesn't change gradually. Sometimes it pivots. One decade you're hearing compact V8s running the street like they own the atmosphere. And then suddenly the whole world wake up obsessed with efficiency, torque curves, and pressure ratios. Today, we are diving into that shift. Not from nostalgia, but from understanding. From the Lexus ISF to the BMW M3 V8 to the C63 6.2 liter, that era had a certain aura. Engines with personality, engines that didn't ask for attention. They commanded it. But everything after them, that wasn't evolution. It was a takeover. So, let's talk about how we got here on the cars that defined the new world order. Mid 2000s compact V8 was special. They weren't trying to be supercars. They weren't trying to be muscle cars. They were the gentlemen of chaos. Take the BMW M3 E90, a high revving 4-liter V8, and a personality that could switch from therapist to terrorist, depending on your right foot. Or the Lexus ISF, a V8 disguised in a Japanese business suit. Calm exterior, violent intentions. And the Mercedes, that one wasn't calm at all. That was the guy who enters the room and removes his jacket before saying hello. These cars had identity. They represented a moment where manufacturers still believed engines were alive, not just numbers on an emissions spreadsheet. But that era didn't last long because the world changed. Let me bring it home briefly, not to localize the story, but to show how global trends echo everywhere. In Kenya, the shift was felt when the government started pushing for efficiency. That's when the Volkswagen Passat era arrived. Suddenly, government fleets went from big engine saloons to turbocharged Germans with diplomatic plates. It was the same pattern happening worldwide. Europe ditching V8s, Japan downsizing, America experimenting. Our experience was just one piece of a global puzzle. And funny enough, even though those Passats weren't performance cars, they symbolized the turning point. The turbo era had officially landed in a suit. Now let's talk about the cars that defined this new world. Let's start with the BMW M3 F80. This would usher in the 6-cylinder revolution. This was the moment BMW said, fine, no more V8, but we are not losing. The S55 engine, twin turbo, 425 horsepower, 500 Newton meters of torque, sharper, angrier, more violent in the mid-range than the V8 ever was. To the purists, it felt like betrayal. To the engineers, it was a masterclass. The car didn't walk into the V8 legacy. It kickstarted a new generation. Worldwide, it became the benchmark. Track days in Germany, tuners in the US, drifters in the Middle East, daily drivers in Japan, everyone claimed a piece of it. This was the new definition of compact performance. Next, we have the Mercedes-AMG C63. Mercedes pulled a clever move. They kept the V8 but shrank it from 6.2 naturally aspirated to 4-liter twin turbo. Same disrespect, different method. This engine, the M177, became a world icon. From the C63 to the GT, it dominated everything. It showed the world turbos are not a compromise, they are a weapon. Then there's the Audi RS3. Audi decided to cheat. They put a turbo 5-cylinder in a small hatchback, gave it quattro, and basically ended the argument for daily drivable performance. This was the car that embarrassed bigger engines globally. Germany, UK, Australia, South Africa all felt it. A compact car with supercar DNA. We also have another Mercedes, AMG A45 first generation. the 2-liter that started fights. 355 horsepower from a 2-liter turbo. This wasn't downsizing. This was engineering with a grudge. It arrived and told the world, displacement is optional. Ego is standard. Whether you're in Asia, Africa, Europe, or the Americas, everyone recognized this one. It was the official turbos can be savage demonstration. Next, we have the Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio. Ferrari influenced 2.9-liter twin-turbo V6, 505 horsepower, sharp like an Italian insult. This was the car that proved just because we left V8s doesn't mean we left emotion. Globally, this car became a cult classic instantly. Half logic, half madness, perfectly balanced. I know someone somewhere is waiting for me to mention the Nissan GTR. Let me help you out. The GTR is not a compact sedan. It's an act of aggression with headlights. If I put it next to a Lexus ISF, even the ISF would say, bro, that guy doesn't belong in this room. Different category, different destiny. Now you see the full picture. The compact 2.8 era wasn't replaced because it was weak. It was replaced because the world changed. Efficiency, engineering, and technology took over, and the turbo era stepped into the spotlight with zero apologies. But both eras matter. Both represent their own type of power. And if you understand that, then you understand the heart of car culture. This is the world after the compact V8s, and the story is still unfolding. Hit like if you enjoyed the video.